Hi. Well, it's a beautiful day, and I'm here to talk about attachment. Now, I know I've talked a lot about attachment in the past, but today I want to talk about it in a different way. You see, what the human mind does, what the ego does, is it builds things around you, okay? And I call these things shells. Like when you're a little kid, if you're sick or if you're weak, your 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 ego, your fake identity builds a shell around you, a protective shell, okay? So that, it knows that you're weak or whatever, okay? And that also it knows it's not its fault, okay? So, anyway, that's what your ego does, okay? And then as you get older, it builds more shells around you. If you have a great time and you have a lot of success, then it's going to build successful, great time shells around you. But if you have a bad time, if you have bad things happen to you, then it's going to build bad shells around you. And you could have, you know, hundreds of these shells all around you. Now, this is just, we're talking about psychologically. Okay, there's no actual shells, obviously. But these shells block you from seeing and feeling what's right in front of you. Okay, you can't see or feel what's in front of you if you have all of these psychological shells around you. Okay, and that's why you can't really feel somebody's pain. And that's why you can't really understand suffering or experience God. These things are all something that's available to you. Okay? And that includes joy, love, peace. But these shells that are around you also have another purpose, and that is to condemn you. Because they each say something different. And so when something, bad happens to you, you say to yourself, or rather the shells say to you, you're a loser, you're weak, you're stupid. Okay? And you look out through these shells and you see the world through these shells and you see what they have to say about you. And so you think badly of yourself. Okay? That's a terrible thing, isn't it? But that's just the way it is. Now, we get attached to ourselves, shells, okay? We get attached to the idea of who we are, okay? Now, I've said before that you need to forget about being a person. Obviously, you're a person. You got a body and all that stuff, but that stuff doesn't really matter, okay? What matters is your soul, the part of you that's really you. All this other stuff was just built around that soul, okay? To keep it alive, I guess you could say. To keep it contained, okay? I mean, I don't know everything, obviously, okay? But that's what I think. And as you age and as these things get built around you, you become in a box. That's the only thing I can use to destroy it, to explain it. You're in a box, okay? And all of these shells that are stacked above you, okay, are saying things to you about yourself. It's your fake identity that's saying it, but the shells are a nice, easy way to sort of make it obvious. As I said, I don't know everything. But what I do know is that these things that you say to yourself aren't true. Okay? You're not a loser. You're not weak. You're not a fat slut. Or whatever it is you say to yourself. Okay? because you are a soul. Okay? And as long as you think of yourself in those terms, okay, then you're going to be unhappy. Okay? And the only way to break out of being surrounded by these bad things from your past is to let go. It's to accept that you are a soul. You are not a person. Yes, you have a name. Yes, you have a history. But you don't have to keep repeating that history. So many people just keep doing the same thing over and over because they've been programmed to do it by their shells. Okay? I know this whole shell thing is a new idea, but it's a way of explaining what is going on. Now, awakening is you break the shells. Okay? That's what awakening is. That's all it is. It's you break the box. You break the cage that you're in. You're in a cage. Okay? And if you can feel some awareness, okay, just even a tiny bit of awareness and a connection to God, then some of that shells is breaking up, okay? And that's the spiritual path. You have to start on the spiritual path. I can't help you start on the spiritual path. You have to do that, okay? And by saying, I don't want to be me anymore, okay? That's it. That's how you start on the spiritual path. You don't need to be you anymore. You're not you. You are a pure soul, which is a piece of God. Okay? So many people are suffering under these horrible me's. Okay? And, you know, the fake identity is constantly hitting you with all these bad things about you. Okay? The fake identity is mostly negative, okay? And that negativity is just going on in your head all the time, okay? And maybe it's negative about other people, okay? That's the way it is. This negativity pours out of you, and other people can feel that. Not as much as, say, I could, but they can still feel it. Suffering spreads. Even if it's just garden variety, I hate my life because I didn't get to do something. It still spreads. Okay? So, try to understand that you are not a person. Try to understand that you are a soul. A pure soul. A piece of God. Whatever you've gone through in your life, it's not you. You are a piece of God. Okay? That's what you are. I'm not trying to say you are God. Obviously, you're not God, but you have a small piece of Him that is what you are. Your essence, the part of you that is your essence, is God. Okay? And that's great. But if you keep seeing yourself in this negative light, then you won't be able to feel that part of you. Okay? And I've talked about, people who jump off buildings and skydive. In that moment when they're doing that, they can't think. They can't tell themselves what losers they are because so much is happening so fast. And that not thinking is what allows them to feel the connection with God. Okay? Thinking is what the problem is. I don't want to say that thinking's bad. Thinking's a great tool. Unless it makes you the tool. Okay? Which is what it does. Okay? Anyway. Try to remember that you are a soul. You are not a person. You are not a body. See this body? It's going to die. It's aging. Look at my hand. It doesn't have any flesh anymore, just bones and veins. Okay? That's because it's aging and it's going to die. No matter what the medical establishment comes up with, it's still going to happen. Okay? And if I were attached to this body and attached to my past, then that death would be a horrendous thing that I would have to go through. But I am not attached to that. When death comes, I will welcome it with open arms because I know it's just a part of life, and life is a gift given to me by God. And luckily, before I died, I awoke it. Okay? And you can too. Well, anyway. I'm just trying to help people understand who they really are and what this life is really about. It's not about killing. It's not about hurting people. It's about the beauty that God has set before us. We're busy destroying the world right now. Okay? Thousands and acres of trees are being cut down. In the name of what? I don't know. But it's just terrible. Not to mention ecosystems being destroyed and animals going extinct. But if enough people wake up, then we might be able to save this planet. So try to recognize these things that your mind is saying to you as what they are. Okay? Try to understand that there are shells around you that are blocking your vision, blocking your feeling. There's 5 senses, right? Well, actually, there's 6 because they didn't mention feeling. Okay? Yeah, there's tasting and smelling and seeing and touching and all that, but there's also feeling. And if you can't feel God, what's it all about? What's it for? To make money? To have things? That's all empty. Okay? What life is really about is having love, having joy, having peace. And you can't have peace if your vision is cluttered up with all these shells telling you what a loser you are. And I've had my share of losing. Okay, and my mind has told me what a loser I am. Many times. Okay? And I didn't know what to do about it. I just had to accept it because that's what the way it was. But now you don't have to accept it. You can go on from there. And make, a new start. By awakening. Well, I guess I've spoken too much on this subject, so I love you all because you're me. And because we're all one. I want you all to have a great day and a nice life. Bye.